Hello and welcome to another live stream. So today we're going to be taking a look over the basics of our new product, the ArtLAN Pro, which is due to be released. Today, obviously, I'm being joined by Daniel.
Hello, everybody.
So yeah, let's get into it and talk about this new device that's getting launched.
Brilliant. Sweet. ArtLAN is our new networking switch that's coming to the market soon. It's an 8 gigabit Ethernet and 2 SPF optical interface network switch with non-blocking wiring performance. It's for long run and high bandwidth networking where reliability is 100% necessary, up to 2 kilometers on fiber and 100 meters on Ethernet. And this device has 2,500 Mbps FPS interconnections for fiber optic networks, and this provides the opportunity to connect a wide variety of fiber cables to extend the switching functionality throughout your network.
The suggested applications for the device are theatres, concert halls, architectural lighting, nightclubs, festivals and other events, and also shopping malls, which is so it's a good versatile device. There's PoE outputs on all the ports, which enables the network to be configured in a wide variety of ways and allows for intermediate networking device to be located out of reach of mains power supply. So it's a very intelligent device. Yeah, so one of the technical specs, if I just hit next on the presentation, obviously the ArtLAN is very powerful Ethernet switch with a large number of functionalities that will benefit your network. Go on, Dan.
A lot of these are on screen at the moment. So a lot of the ones on screen are the standard Sundrax technical specifications that are for the vast majority of our devices, like the wide-ranging operating temperature, the power consumption, the PoE, the lightweight, and the dust and moisture protection, and the variety in protocols that the device can use. But there are a few specific things to ArtLAN that make it a little bit special. And ArtLAN uses a 8K MAC address and has 4K VLAN support as well, for like a push and pop VLAN tag, and it has 2-layer switching, and this can also be applied in link aggression with programmable traffic distribution between layer 2 through layer 4 information, as well as wire speed hardware based learning and CPU based learning. So it's a very, very powerful device, and
and it's
very,
very compact as well. The fact that it fits into a standard 19-inch rack unit. So it's always good to have such a powerful device, and the fact, as you said, it weighs so little. It's a really, really good device that's obviously due to come out shortly.
So it takes up a standard 1 module in a rack, but the actual device is considerably shallower than a lot of our other nodes, and this was just to like improve its versatility, so it can be installed in a rack but also in a number of other places as well. And that small sized case really means you can put this device in a lot of places throughout your network. So whether you're in a theater or a shopping mall or rigging for a festival, if you need to switch in a place, ArtLAN can be put there. And we also have a few accessories to enable mounting in other places, like our truss mounting kits.
And it also obviously utilizes a MAC address to determine the path through where the frames are being essentially forwarded. It uses hardware-based switching techniques to connect and obviously transmit data in a local area network, also known as a LAN. So it's it's an extremely clever device for what's actually within the device itself. So
and as you can see, this is just an example connection scheme for ArtLAN, and there are many potential ways you can construct your network using this device. And on screen you can see that we've split from ArtLAN into 3 ArtGates, a Pixel Gate, and 2 servers. And this doesn't fit all of the limits of this device. Like there would still be 2 Ethernet ports available and 1 SPF port available in this setup for you to connect even more devices to it. And this kind of setup would also allow you to test and configure your network. As long as you had a terminal connected to one of your servers, you could access the web interface from the device, where you could then configure and monitor your device live and test any settings you would be looking for, whether you would want to change between ArtLAN to ASCN or KeyNet, and experiment with the way you want to set up your network using this device. You can do that as long as you've got a terminal connected to this setup. And in here, the control device is a lighting desk, but you can have any controller that you see fit.
Yeah. And it's always good, especially with these devices supporting so many protocols, due to the fact, obviously, new protocols are getting developed every single day. So having these devices support as many protocols, it kind of gives you that flexibility to choose which protocol you particularly want to use within your venue. So being able to support SACN or any of the other protocols that are out there, it kind of gives you that flexibility depending on the venue itself. A lot of, obviously, the older venues only support DMX 512, but obviously some of the newer ones are starting to come in with like SACN and all of the more and Connect and all the more advanced networking. So that's one really good thing about the devices, is they all support such a wide range of devices, protocols. So yeah.
And talking about configuring and monitoring, if you go to the next slide, we've got some example pages from our web interface for ArtLAN. And the web interface for ArtLAN is a little bit different to our web interfaces for our nodes and other Sundrax products, just because of the number of potential monitoring situations and configuring situations there are with ArtLAN. We also have a full maintenance section that we'll talk about later on as well. Now, we're not going to go into huge detail on the web interface for ArtLAN today, as we will produce another video on that at a later date. But just to give you a little bit of an overview, as ArtLAN is a Ethernet switch, there's considerably more options compared to a lot of our other devices. And some of these are shown on screen. And at the moment, we've got the systems configuration screen up, and this allows you to edit like the key managing options for the device. So you can including whether DHCP is active, the name and password for the device, and your IP address settings. So this is mostly the really basic standard configuring systems that you would be looking for.
Yeah,
and also, go ahead, Harry.
Another thing, obviously, is because our software is developed by ourselves, quite a lot of the software that you may see, so you'll see similarities between them in terms of the way they're laid out. So that's one really, really good thing as well with us. If you have an ArtGate or anything else, the software, the layout of the software is extremely similar, so you can kind of find your way around the software, and actually it's very, very straightforward. It's not like other companies where you have to try and dig deep just to do the simplest thing. Ours is very straightforward, straight to the point, and extremely easy to use.
Yep. The user-friendly interface is very, very important to us. Even though we've expanded the options that you have available for configuring the device, we've still kept it very user-friendly. It's very easy to navigate, and as you can see from the image, the selection column on the left is very self-explanatory, and all of the pages within there are set up very similar to systems configuration and the one you're going to see next, which is the port configuration page. Yeah, so in port configuration, it says what it does on the tin. This enables you to configure each individual port for the device, and you can edit your modes in here, and you can enable or disable power saving mode or flow control as well, which are 2 very important options. And on ArtLAN, on the front, we have the 8 Ethernet ports, but on the back, you've got the 2 SPF ports. So on here, you can see we've got 1 through 10, 9 and 10. Those ports are the FPS ports on the back of the device.
Yeah, and that's one good thing, that you can kind of individually control each port depending on which mode you want it. I know obviously quite a lot of other devices you may have the same amount of ports, but you can't individually choose what modes they want to be in. So you kind of be stuck with having all the ports in the same mode. So that's one really, really good thing about the ArtLAN is you can kind of customize it depending on your needs, your theatre, your venue, whatever you're using. You can customize it in terms of what you need, which is really good.
Yeah, some other simpler products on the market only have global configuration, whereas at Sundrax, we're really big on having individual port configuration because it just enables such versatility in the way you want to set up your network and what you really want to get out of your lighting network and rig.
Exactly. So we'll go on to the next one. So obviously we've got a lot of
So we're just going to talk through some of the advantages of the device.
So
on
obviously
screen at the
all
moment
of our
are some of the standard Sundrax ones. If you'd like to go ahead, Harry.
So obviously all of our devices obviously have no internal fans or grills. So obviously they have a passive heat convection, which is really good, especially with media servers, server rooms and stuff. It does tend to get extremely hot in those types of places because they have other devices which are extremely close to each other. So that's one really, really good thing about Sundrax is there's no way of that device overheating. The only thing that may cause it to overheat is if another device that gets hot is so close. But at the same time, like, why would you wouldn't want to go for something that's produces a lot of heat anyway?
Managed.
Exactly. You'd want to go for obviously something that's very heat nil, can be used in various places and not overheat. So that's one really, really good thing about our devices.
Yeah. And the 0 to 60 degrees C operating temperature means it's very unlikely that the device will be put in an environment where it's going to overheat.
Yeah. Even if those devices are extremely hot, most of those devices that do cause heat don't obviously typically go above 60 degrees. Otherwise, that would be dangerous. So it can be put through thick and thin and still be as powerful as you need it to be. So that's obviously a major advantage with our product.
Yeah, there are a few specific advantages to ArtLAN that are not on screen, and these include the two quad speed 10, 100, 1000 and 2500 Mbps serial gigabit media interfaces. And this just enables you to get that bandwidth you need in your network, especially when you're running long distances on fiber and Ethernet. And it has independent and shared VLAN learning, as well as a advanced web interface, which you've seen, which allows you to completely control the device while it's still very, very user-friendly. The multicast and broadcast storm control with flooding control too, and it supports up to 100 meters Ethernet runs and 200 kilometer fiber runs. So it's perfect for when you're running networks run long distances in stadiums or like long distances between buildings. Like if you're running a complicated DMX facade and you need a switch that may be located on another side of a campus or on the other side of the building, having an ArtLAN in as a switch could get your network where it needs to be, gets your data where it needs to be.
Yeah, and that's one really good thing as well, that it supports such a distance, because obviously a lot of products now are starting to support Ethernet and fiber. So having that length of versatility is one major key point, because so many people are going to Ethernet and fiber because you can put so much more down the cable, and it can run so much further than standard DMX 512 would. So having that versatility of allowing you to put so much down essentially such a small cable, and loads, having one single run, rather than having to go through DMX buffers and all that to boost any data. Basically, it allows for such a strong device to be used for whatever you're using the device for.
Yeah. So today's just been a very quick introduction to ArtLAN and some of its advantages and tech specs. We will be creating more videos on ArtLAN in the future and going into more detail, especially related to the technical specifications for the device. And we will give you some product demos too. But for now, thank you very much. And we both hope to see you at the next one.
See you at the next one. Thank you.